Hi guys, I hope I'm live now. Um, so um, let's give it a minute before we start. Let's give it like 4 5 minutes. We'll talk about. We'll see if things are fine, as in you guys can see the screen clearly or not. Uh, so just see it clearly. Uh, I'll just check the group as well. Uh, um, yeah. So, there's some internet issue apparently. Right. I hope it is sorted now. Um, so I just refresh. Right. I hope the thing is sorted now. Anyway, we'll start. Yeah, uh, that's all right. So I'll start the test. I hope the timer would be visible this time around. Uh, Again, not sure if this is going to work, but let's see. All right. I'm going to start now, and yeah, I hope the timer would be visible. Just hoping. Okay, anyway, polar bears are known to construct snow dens in which they give birth to the young and raise them. Uh, okay, I don't think the timer is visible. Let me just make some quick adjustments so that it is. I hope this would sort out things. Uh, right. I'm wasting a couple of my minutes, but making sure that things are fine at the end of it. Um, I hope the timer would be visible now. If not minutes, at least seconds should be visible. Yeah, I think it is visible now. Anyway, let's start. Okay. Uh, we'll see what happens. Polar bears are known to construct snow dens in which they give birth to their young and raise them until they're independent. Bears in Arctic, Alaska begin digging in the drifted snows in the middle of October and continue until the beginning of December, right about this time. The cubs are born in the middle of winter, and by the middle of April, the family groups have abandoned their dens and migrated onto newly formed pack ice to resume hunting seals. Because thinning of particular polar bears are unable to see through the risk that wintertime petroleum development activities in northern could disturb mother polar bears and their cubs. Okay, this is about wildlife and again petroleum and stuff. Previous research found that forward-looking infrared imagery could detect a large number of polar bears' maternal dens buried beneath the snow. However, these studies also found that the method had some drawbacks. The effectiveness of by Smith et al. Right, Ariel FL Surveys carried by between the year was investigated by located 15 out of 33 of the dens that were known to be in the surveyed areas, but they were unable to locate 18 of them. Right, so half of them were not located, more than half actually. The physical characteristic of polar bear maternal dance, increasing frequencies of weather that is unsuitable for FLIR detection, high wind syrups, and false positives are likely to prevent these surveys from offering reliable protection from the activities of the oil industry. Stricter adherence to protocols may improve FLIR detection rates. Petroleum exploration has been expanding along Alaska's coast, and the US administration proposed drilling for the Arctic National. Despite the fact that the coastal region of A and WR has been designated as essential habitat for polar bears by the United States, while these things have been happening, an increase in the number of mother polar bears that choose to den on land has been occurring due to the fact that the ice cover of the so of course all these climate changes everything happening, the confluence of these events is eliminating the risk of maternal dens being destroyed or disturbed during the process of petroleum exploration and development. When they are at least 3 months old, polar bear cubs are allowed to emerge from there, right? Okay. The US Conservation Management Plan recognized the need for an on-the-ground protection to maximize polar bear denning success between 2000 and 2010. The southern Beaufort Sea polar bear population suffered a 40% decline. The chief cause for this drop has been reduced survival, particularly of cubs. So maximizing cub survival is essential for the persistence of polar bears in this region. A critical step in the conservation strategy is the protection of maternal dance and denning activity overlap with intensive human right. Okay. Okay. Its then must be treated by that measure. Okay. In addition to the protection of maternal dens, the following options can be adopted to ensure the protection of the except okay, a scientific approach to ensuring survival to be that's a fairly good thing. Areas should be marked as essential for polar bear dens so that no drilling. Of course, that's good. Petroleum exploration should be conducted in a more responsible. Good. Conservation of ice cover of the Arctic Sea. How does that help? I don't see how that helps. Uh, right. So I think this is correct. Next, all of the following statements can be inferred from the passage except protocol compliance may prove detrimental in FLIR detection rates. Never heard of that. Okay. There has been environmental degradation in the regions surrounding the Arctic Circle. Of course, that's all climate change and everything. FLIR imagery is not a foolproof method. Of course, it's not. For 55% it did not detect. So in a recent part, it has been observed that the mother bird chose to live with their cubs on land. That is also correct, right? So this is where it is seen somewhere. Uh, the confluence that choose to den on land and has been occurring concurrently, right? So I think the first one, protocol compliance. We never heard of any protocol compliance. I don't know what protocol they are talking about. Which sequence of the phrases below best capture the principal idea of the respective passages. So the first passage was about polar bear denning, right? How they do it. Then second was about FLIR. Third was about the risks that have arisen, and fourth is about how to recognize. Okay, so the birth of the polar bears, the oil industry, human activities, denning activities. No, the flora and fauna of Arctic Alaska. No, clearly not. Wildlife in Arctic Alaska. Okay. Mm, fourth one is the one, right? We don't talk about flora, fauna, wildlife. We just talk about polar bears. Should okay. All the following arguments are made in the passage except that identification of polar bears den is essential for the conservation. Yes, the region surrounding Alaska is rich in oil deposits. Fairly, a conservation of polar bear is impossible to implement. That is not correct. If it is impossible, then they will not even talk about it. Why will you talk about something which is impossible? It's not impossible. During winter is not at all advisable with respect to. Yes, that is correct. So I think the third one. Right. Okay. Uh, After the Notre Dame Cathedral nearly burned down in April, the French luxury goods magazine Francois Henri Pinot was celebrated for committing $100 million to reconstruct what he called the jewel of our heritage and ushering in a flood of donations from other benefactors and companies. Though an impressive figure in the abstract, Pinot's commission reflected only 0% of the family fortune. If he instead had the average net wealth for a French household and donated 0.3% of his fortune, his commitment would be that of not an insignificant sum for the average Frenchman, but who would refuse to give that sum if it garnered the praise and notoriety that followed. Right. So they're saying he's too rich, right? And he's just giving 0.3% of whatever he has, right? So अगर तुम्हारे पास 1,000 रुपए हैं और तुम मतलब 3 रुपए दे रहे हो, ठीक है? तो क्या ही दे रहे हो? Is what this guy is saying. Right. We live in an age of excessive praise for the wealthy and powerful. The upper echelons of the society bathe in the sea of honors, awards, and celebrity. We see it in glossy magazines and at so-called ideas festival, where billionaires are fawned over for their bonds, mots. Bonds, mots, probably some brain thing or something. We applaud philanthropists for their largesse, even if their charity will do little ultimate good for society, and even if their conduct in acquiring their fortune was reprehensible. To criticize or praise for the wealthy and powerful and excessive inevitably raises the question of meritocracy. To what extent do we live in meritocracy, and is that a good or bad thing? Meritocracy is the form of social organization that is founded on praise and blame. People signal who deserve power and status by praising them for their character, their talent, their productivity, and their action, and whom merits demotion and status and power by blaming them for their vices, their inaptitude, and their failings. And so far as people's assessment of praise and blame is accurate, they will promote those deemed better up in the hierarchy of power and status and demote those deemed worse down. All right, this is about meritocracy, which is a system which says that merit should be rewarded. A rule of meritius, to be honest. Meritocracy literally means that. Better people will do better things with their superior power and status. When the system works, we have an aristocracy ruled by the finest people, also thinkers from Aristotle onwards have thought. System does not work and can't work on its own term. Assessment of praise and blame tend to reflect existing hierarchies of power and status, thereby uh, reefing them. I don't know what that means. This is because praise and blame have as much to do with the person judging as the person being judged. If everyone in meritocracy wants to go ahead, assessment of praise and blame will be influenced by whatever people, whatever helps, namely helping praise on the powerful and castigating those without power and status. This is obviously true with meritocracies that most people have explicitly reject, such as the white supremacy and patriarchy. Right, these are meritocracies, example of hierarchies drawn along racial and gender lines. These systems have persisted despite the on which they are grounded, because these living see such as legitimate praise and right privileges and everything. Okay, all of the following statement can be inferred. A judgmental person more often than not subverts. Why would he subvert a hierarchical system? Social hierarchy is more often than not caused by those who are not part of the top. No, social hierarchy will always be construed by people who are at the top. Moral grounds hold sway over the popular imagination to demarcate the standings of their is what breeds. Idealizing a system run by the finest is what breeds unwanted social hierarchies. That is correct. That statement has been inferred, right? Uh, Moral grounds hold sway over the popular imagination. Yeah, baseless moral judgment. Right. Societal hierarchy is more often than not constructed by those who are not on the part of the top. Okay, fine. Agreed. People who are, they fawn over them and they create that hierarchy. Okay. More often than not, subverts hierarchical system. It's between 1 and 3. I'll go with 1. Following from the passage, which of the following may be seen as a characteristic of a society at large? Social critics subverts structure which promote hierarchies. Moral assessment of the excessively rich. Uh, Grecian look on aristocracy. I don't know what is Grecian look, to be honest. Unnecessary pinging for heritage structures. I think fourth one. I really want to leave this question, to be honest. This could be one as well. Let's go with one then, but it could be four. Which sequence of words based below narrative? So the first one was about being critical. Last is self awareness. I think preeminence, morality, critical self awareness is more appropriate. True would best complement the mass passages. We, the common people, aspire for aristocracy, which in turn enables. That is true. The moral grounding of the people need to change to challenge the present. Charitable causes are mostly hoaxes which help to sway the opinion of masses. That's also true. Fuck. Most rich people have accumulated through criminal enterprise. That has not that is not going to help, right? The whole argument is about moral judgment and everything, right? Uh, and the idea of meritocracy. So it's between one and three. I'll go with one because it's more about hierarchies and stuff. But again, tough passage. Many conspiracy theories provide uh, alternate explanation for impactful crisis events such as pandemics, wars, or natural disasters. Believing conspiracy theories therefore can instill a sense of meaning and purpose by raising the impression that one is discovering something truly important. The reason is compatible with theoretical insights into closely related phenomena. For instance, radicalization theories stress that extreme ideological beliefs satisfy a need for significance by making people feel important and special. People, therefore, are more likely to radicalize following experiences of significant loss, that is, injustice simulation. Likewise, conspiracy beliefs are associated with feelings unique and special and can reflect positively on people's self perception. It should be specified whether that these self-related benefits of conspiracy theories do not necessarily pertain to maintaining a positive self-concept. Instead, conspiracy theories, something about conspiracy theories, um, help people defend relatively fragile forms of self-perception. For example, conspiracy beliefs predict instability of self-esteem more strongly than a level of self-esteem. Uh, Moreover, conspiracy beliefs are positively associated with only with inflated sense of self, uh, as conspiracy beliefs predict lower self-esteem but also higher narcissism. Okay, so it's about self-esteem and how conspiracies are an additional way in which conspiracy theories contribute to meaning and purposes by creating an alternative reality that is exciting, attention grabbing, and spectacular. Conspiracy theories typically portray an archetypical struggle between good and evil and introduce mystery about the potentially dubious role of powerful and important societal actors. If it is therefore not surprising that the plot lines of many works of fiction, including center around conspiracies, believing conspiracy theories turn perceivers into active players in such a spectacular and allow them much like to uncover a mystery. right? Entertainment मिलता है. At first blush, the psychological benefit might seem discrepant with the notion that conspiracy theories can increase negative emotions such as anxiety. Note, however, that many popular sources of entertainment are likely to increase anxiety. Right? People often do not avoid such negative emotions. Instead, people are drawn to events that provide intense emotional experience, which may include right. Two quantifications of these propositions are in order. First, the described processes are likely to be psychologically beneficial only in the short run. Constructing an alternative reality may a risk is that reality catches up with perceiver eventually, right? Many of the harmful effects of conspiracy theory emerged by promoting choices that may have negative real life consequences for themselves and others. Second, the current proposition only focuses on the question of how perceivers themselves benefit from how perceivers social so, might benefit from is a different issue altogether. Conspiracy theories also may have certain benefits for society in that they can increase transparency among decision makers and can attend to the possibility of actual corruption. Most social consequences are likely to be negative. Okay, right. Which of the following keyword sequence best captures the main concern of the passage? Uh, right. This one. The first is conspiracy, then self-esteem, then psychological benefits over there, and then what are the social consequences. So I think this is the one. So the following statement is the author least likely to agree. Least likely to agree. Okay. Conspiracy theories can be regarded as a form of instant gratification by people. Yeah. Perceivers and society may pay the price for conspiracy theories in the long run. All right. Recognizing the psychological benefit of conspiracy theories does not imply endorsement. Okay. Conspiracy theories avoid making people feel like legitimate actors than that rational. Avoid making feel like legitimate actors. Okay. I'll say fourth is the one which they will not recognize with. The author mentions each of the following as a psychological benefit. Alright, that's third paragraph. Uh, it is a defensive mechanism for the perception of oneself. It helps perceive resolve negative aspect of self-esteem. It creates a different idea of reality. That's correct. That is definitely mentioned. It draws perceiver to that is correct as well. So fourth and third are correct. It is a defensive mechanism for the perception of oneself. Oh, help defend a relatively fragile form of self-perception. That is correct then. So second, negative aspect. Each of the following is a valid inference from the passage, except that conspiracy theories are likely to hold a cynical theorists are likely to hold a cynical view of the actions of prominent celebrities. Okay, experience of extreme humiliation may result in people adopting this radical position. Okay, wait, we'll have to read that paragraph. While perceivers may not benefit from conspiracy theories, there is no clear. No, oh wait, there is some benefit, right? May also have certain benefits for society. May also have certain benefit. It's not clear benefit. It's incorrect, right? So let's just go ahead. Uh, Descartes thought that people only know their own minds. The famous ego cogito as the starting point of all knowledge, and that there is no quick way to know that what is going on in the minds of others. Knowing that people are thinking becomes a matter of observation and deduction. David Hume solved the Cartesian problem by redefining empathy as a process based on the observation of resemblance and inferential reasoning based on drawing parallels between body mind association in others and in myself. The idea is that when we feel empathy for someone's mental state like anger, we start by noticing changes in the other person's body. We see, for example, tense muscles and a frown on the other person's face and realize that we have similar body states and facial expression. We then connect our imagined or stimulated body state and facial expression with how we usually feel when our bodies are in the same situation condition. We finally figure out the other person must be in a similar mental state to be based on how our bodies and minds are connected. Recent philosophical accounts on social cognition build forth on this human um, account by emphasizing either the element of resemblance on the role of inference. Simulation theories focus on resemblance by hypothesizing that we know the mental state of others. That is their attention, that is their intention, um, feelings, and thoughts on the basis of an internal simulation of what is going on in them. Neuroscientific support for the idea comes, among others, from the so called mirror neuron theory. Mirror neurons are a group of visual that discharge both when the particular action when it observes another individual perception and action are coupled. Observing an emotion and intentions of another person activates parts of our brain that right the other strand of theorizing known as theory. Oh, okay. Puts emphasis on the inferential nature of empathy. Knowing the mind on the other is of the other is based on inferences about others' behavior. Okay, so cool. Focus on resemblance by hypothesis that we know. Okay, uh, and theory puts emphasis on the inferential nature of empathy. Knowing the mind of the other is based on inferences about others' behavior. Being mentalistic are those conceptions of the mind that consider the mind to be transparent only for itself. Mentalism to solipsism, the idea that we can only know our own mind, knowing what others feel and think occurs in direct and after the retrodicting, a backward explanation of phenomenon that we are not transparent when live. Sense of knowing others, which tend to view empathy as a form of knowing by direct contact. So, right. Okay. Former is simulation. Okay. Former is based on philosophical explanation of human effort, while the latter is based on the emphasis on social cognitive explanation. What? Former posits that we understand the mental state of others by subjective understanding, and the latter suggests that we use inferential understanding. Okay. The former is based on the neuroscientific aspect of the mirror, while the latter emphasizes the perception of others based on personal understanding. We can have complete by emphasis. Okay, that's incorrect. Fourth is incorrect. Right. Uh, Third is incorrect. It's not based on the neuroscientific aspect of memory. It is supported by it. It's not based on it. Okay, so fourth and third are wrong. Former is subjective understanding. Is simulation a subjective understanding? No. Okay. So this is wrong according to me. The former, this one, human wala thing. So I think it's just the second one. Those who support the lay conception of knowing others are more likely to believe which one of the following about the view that the subject who understands the other person is interacting with an internally. No, no. I think the fourth one. Which one of the following false would negate the human account of empathy? If you see someone experience pain, then in the act of imagining it, you experience that pain too. If it is false, yes. It is a mistake to assume that the others feel the same way as one. It is not a mistake. That is correct. That is the line. It is possible for one person to. That is also human concept. No one would ever know. I think the first one. See, it might sound counterintuitive, but if false, so we have to make a false statement. Uh, okay, real second person interaction is reduced to first person interaction. Which one of the following is most aligned with the statement? Where is this statement from? This means that real second person interaction. Okay. Traditional accounts of empathy reduce it by to mere subject to understand the other person is not interactive with the other one. Okay. If human account were to be true, then empathy would be which of the following? Traditional accounts of empathy reduce it to the merely un. Oh, right. Okay. There is no way to knowing that the second person, first person account gives more clarity. I think it's between one of these two. I think the first one. Okay. We have 11 minutes left. The incidents, okay, this is the incidents of crimes in the cities and its geographies are a manifestation of the way social structures are organized, especially within the city. The geography of urban crimes enable to understand the tries to question the spatial distribution of power between the core and peripheries of the city. And okay, I think four would be the opening statement, right? Four two, 4-1-3. It could also be 4-1-2-3. I'm just trying to figure out. Uh, Emerge as a center of complex human interaction in the era of modernity. Or it should be 4-1-2-3 because spatially within the city and then go for geography. 4-1-2-3, I think. Again. Needless to say, the gun rights lobby is a formidable force. It is backed by a truly grassroots network of committed and well organized supporters who are willing to make calls to legislators and turn out even uh, to back broken. However, as gun ownership is becoming more concentrated in the smaller share of the population, one that is increasingly frustrated and uncertainty in others. No sooner than the toll from the last month. I think 3-4-3-4-1-2. Of course, not 6. 3-4-1-2. Because 3 is the first thing. No sooner had the tall. This is a opening statement. Then a case in point was this. Then why, and then however the changes are happening. 1-2 is a pair. Okay. Uh, a prominent criticism of positive psychology is that it has been shaped by Western context. It is imperative, therefore, to focus on conceptualization of happiness in the West. More specifically, one should explore the emergence of scientific ideas relating to the good life through the innovative device of studying artwork. On the premise that being featured in art is an effective signifier when a rose to an art for centuries has been selected to illustrate the emergence of a particular stream of thought during the said period. Okay, something about happiness, how it has emerged psychologically. Okay, the conceptualization of happiness by Western critic with regard to the study of artworks. What? Okay, emphasis on happiness in the West, approaches on the surfacing ideas. What? Most likely three, but see, three seems to be the most appropriate. Mental health. Okay, I have less time. Okay, mental health workers start with the parents reported that the age range of children at the daycare center ranged from 2 to 5 years. Thailand was plunged into mourning after 30, most of them young children in a brutal gun and knife attack. Uh, right, this is a very recent report. Okay, this happened like 3 days, 5 days back. Okay, I think the first should be this. Uh, Second should be this. I think the first should be incorrect because it has uh, no point being here. The classical debate between materialism and philosophical dualism is simply the most familiar of many such disputes. Conflicts between reductionist view and the dualist and pluralist metaphysical rivals have loomed large in the history of philosophy. Right. And bodies, each with their own. I think 2-1, 2-1-3-4. So I'm not explaining much because I don't have time. I have 3 minutes and I have to do like 4 minutes and three questions. Concept of destiny is not at all synonymous with the concept of necessity. Necessity as the uh, immanent and causal link joining objective processes as a process of if then connection may form the ontological content of destiny, but it does not necessarily do so. In theological and teleological worldviews, destiny most often is precise. It does not spring from the women fancy of a god may become destiny, and the accidental may become destiny, and so many. I think the second one, they're not. 29 people, including 4 health workers, have died since the outbreak was declared on shops remain open. Children are at school and public gatherings are avoided. Remain social distance. Washrooms, which is struggling to contain. I think this is like 3125. It could be 5. Wait. Okay, 4 is wrong, I think. Again, I might be wrong. The word priority came into English language and it was and that all first prior things it stayed singular for the next 500 years. The term and start talking about priority. The reason that by changing the word we could build reality. So we try to the first thing is nothing. First is incorrect. It has not changed many times. Third is the correct one. Right. Okay, attempt. Not a great attempt to be honest. I hope things are visible clearly. Uh, that's my concern right now. Okay, I'm clearly missing some words in the left, but time a bit of it is visible at least. So, yeah, this is the best compromise I could have. I shaved some place from left and took some place from right. I hope it works out just fine. But let's see. It was not a great attempt, to be honest. Right. Um, I am sure I could have done better. I still don't want to answer that one specific question. I still want to remove that, but that would be no. I can't do that. I can't not attempt all 24 questions, even if I risk -4 of that. Ah, what a pain. Okay. Anyway, let's start this. Okay. Participants registered face off against each other for scholarship. The workshop also. Um, so some cook off is happening, and okay, I will see. This is 25 to 28. Okay, 4 question, I think. Right, 29 to 34. That's 6 questions. Yeah, two. Uh, oh, this should be some Venn diagram thingy. Okay, now let's go with next. I'm terrible at Venn diagrams, by the way. They are my least favorite. Right, I know what ducks indicate. Right, right, I know number of innings. यार इसमें कैलकुलेशन बहुत ज्यादा होगा. राइट, मतलब बहुत ही ज्यादा कैलकुलेशन होगा. At a selection camp for Jawans, there are 3. Right. ये कर लेते हैं पहले. ठीक है. सो एक टेबल बनेगा. J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6, J7, J8, up till how many? 15, right? J9, J10, J11, J12, J13, J14, J15, right? कौन कौन से टेस्ट हो रहे हैं? 3 सेक्शन ऑफ टेस्ट, ग्राउंड एरिया